This episode is sponsored by Jacobson Real Estate Company. Are you ready to find your dream home? Or maybe you're thinking about selling and want the best deal possible? Well, look no further. At Jacobson Real Estate Company, we make buying or selling your home smooth, stress-free, and exciting. With 50-plus years of experience and a deep knowledge of the Winona, Minnesota area market, we specialize in turning your real estate goals into reality. Whether it's finding that perfect neighborhood, negotiating top dollar for your property, or answering all of your questions along the way, we're here for you. Plus, with our personalized approach, you're not just a client, you're family. So why wait? Let Jacobson Real Estate Company open the door to your future. Call us today at 507-313-2716 or visit our website at jacobsonrealestatecompany.com. Because your next chapter starts here. Buy, sell, invest. Jacobson Real Estate Company.
Have you ever wondered what behind the scenes of Brews and Cruise looks like? Well, welcome to the 100th episode. And this is Brews and Cruise behind the scenes with the owner of most of these cars here and motorcycles, as you're going to see soon. And everyone always asks, what does it look like behind the scenes? Now, as you look here, we see many different things when we're sitting on the couches, but there's a lot of things that you don't see, and that's today what we're going to do. So Ritch is back on the podcast. You were on, what, episode 18 back in last year?
About 18.
Yep, and he was talking about income taxes, but this is his place, the studio, and then most of the cars are his and some of them are mine. So we're going to go through this garage/studio, and we're going to give you a behind-the-scenes look. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go do the motorcycles because I think that they're just probably the easiest to talk about, and I don't think you have that big of a love for motorcycles. But motorcycles over here, I know this is the first one over here was yours, right? The Suzuki Intruder.
That was new in 2001.
Now, how many miles you got on this one?
Oh, there's about 5,000.
5,000 miles.
5,300. This was new in 2001, I believe.
Okay, so that's Suzuki Intruder, and
Intruder.
Everyone calls it the Shriner bike because it does have some Shriner qualities.
It's a very comfortable bike.
Yeah, and then you graduated up to this one here, which this one actually kind of bought together, and then you just kind of bought it out for me, and I went on to something else. But this is the Suzuki Boulevard?
This is the Boulevard.
Okay. Now, this one I remember because this is my first cruiser that I ever had, actually, because I always thought rockets were the way to go. And so crotch rockets are not the favorite anymore, for obvious reasons as you get older. But yeah, this was a nice one. I think we got it for $3,500.
This one sounds really nice.
Yes.
It's got special pipes on it.
Yep. And then we go over this one. This one is newer for you. And this is a Harley Fat Boy, if I remember right.
This was brand new 2 years ago.
How many miles does this one have on it?
About 40 miles. I think I've been out 3 times on this one.
So we don't get many miles on the motorcycles. I think I probably put on more motorcycle miles in my summer this year than you have in your whole life, probably.
Well, I've just been too busy to get them out, but I'll get this out before winter.
So this one's the 120th anniversary, and it's got a special paint job, as some of you can see. If you don't know, it has like a maroon and a dark maroon with a gold logo on it. It's pretty sharp looking for those who haven't seen the 120th anniversary. And for Harley, that is 1903 is when they came out. So 2023 was the year that these ones became the 120th anniversary. And I think it's a beautiful color because I think the gold and the maroon is just a beautiful combo, but the back tire is humongous as well. And then we move over to my bad boy. This is the one I took out to Sturgis. For those who listen to the podcast, you know I went out to Sturgis. This is a very comfortable bike. It's got every bell and whistle you could think of on it. It's got heated hand grips. It's got the music system and the saddlebags as well. It's got alarm system. It's got GPS. It's got the whole 9 yards on this thing. But this one, I put on some nice loud pipes on it, and it was a nice cruise out to Sturgis. Now, you might wonder, another question, if you're watching, you're going to see that there's an Indian sign behind me, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It does if you knew 2-3 years ago when we had 2 Indians in here, and then we bought this neon as well to go with it, and it was a beautiful backdrop. So now we got updated eventually to a Harley one, but someday we'll get there.
We do have the Harley sign in
We do have a Harley sign up there that you'll see as well, because that one never makes the shot, actually. Now let's go focus over here, and we'll get to the cars. And this one, it gets a lot of looks. This is the, what year is this?
It's a 1930 Model A.
Okay.
It's been modified.
Yep.
The engine compartment has been stretched to put a V6 in there.
Okay.
So that's a little longer than normal. It's a custom paint job.
Yep.
It's modernized with air conditioning, DVD player, electronic doors. There's no door handles. You have to use a remote to pop the doors open.
Okay.
This one runs really nice at like 75 miles an hour on the interstate. This will run smooth as can be.
So for those who are listening to the podcast, it's a 1930. So if you don't know what a 1930 Model A looks like, you got to look it up first. But it's been stretched a little bit, as Rich was saying. But it's also got this two-tone paint job, which I don't think that the camera's probably going to do it all that good of justice, because if you look, it's cream here, but on here it's a maroon, but it's also got like little flakes and almost swirl marks in it, which makes it pretty sharp. And the pinstripes here too, those are painted on. Those aren't just stickers that, a lot of people put stickers on their cars to have pinstripe, but that's actually hand painted on there. So yeah, you'll notice also that there's shaved door handles. There's nothing here. So to get into it, you got to have an electric remote control, and that can sometimes be troublesome.
I got it working now.
You got it working now. All right. Well, let's go into the main area. So as you guys are looking, you're going to say, okay, now this looks a little bit more familiar because of the fact that it's the background. But then you'll notice we also have some gas pumps, which aren't actually gas pumps. These are refrigerators. So we have, well, there's some beer in here, actually. I forgot about these. Yeah, it's got beer, and it's got a freezer up on top. And where'd we get these from? Up north of the cities?
Somewhere up north of the cities.
Yeah. So those are
Texaco
interesting.
one around the corner.
Yeah. As we come over here, you'll see there's a Texaco one as well over by where we have our parties, football parties, things of that nature.
Elvis collection.
Elvis collection. Yep. Yep. So another one as well. Freezer, refrigerator. They're actually pretty handy. I kind of like those. So now let's go over here to this side. We'll go over to the Thunderbirds because obviously you have 3 of them, so you must love them a lot. So we got the first one here, and what year is this one?
This would be a 2003.
Okay.
This is called the James Bond edition.
Okay.
It's got the James Bond insignias, the James Bond dash.
Yep.
They only made 700 of these. This is I believe it's number 359. It's got a personalized plate in the glove box with its number on it.
How many did they make each year, or of this
They only
one?
made 700 of the James Bond.
Okay.
Now, Halle Berry drove a car similar to this in James Bond, Die Another Day. When they were done filming, they gave her the car she used in it, and she didn't like the color. So she traded it in for a black one, which is the next one over. So she didn't even like this color for whatever reason, but they only made 700 of these.
What color is this called?
This is called coral.
Coral.
This is a color from the 50s.
Sure. So if you're listening, coral it's like a pinkish salmon.
Depends on when the sun is shining.
Yeah.
It could be orange, it could be pink, it could be red.
Now, these rims aren't the original, correct?
No, those are Foose wheels.
Foose wheels.
Rims.
Okay.
The original were the 100-spoke rims.
Okay. And then what color top does this one have?
This one has a white top.
Okay.
Another thing with these 2 models, that one's a 2002, that's a 2003. The tops are interchangeable. So if I want to put the white roof on the black T-Bird or the black roof on this T-Bird, I can switch up the colors.
Perfect. Well, then let's go over to the next T-Bird because this was your first one that you've ever started with the collection, I think. This is kind of the one that started everything.
This T-Bird I bought new from Sugarloaf Ford. Somebody ordered it, and they didn't pick it up. They had a deposit. They didn't pick it up. One of the salesmen called me and asked me if I was interested in it. I went and looked at it, and I really liked it because it's got the porthole windows in it. So this one's new. This has about 6,000 miles on it right now.
Okay.
Everything's original on it. It's really never been wet other than washing it a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
It's never been out in the weather at all.
Actually, fun fact, I drove this to 8th grade one day. What about a eighth of a mile I drove it. I
Yeah.
pulled up in 8th grade with the Thunderbird that morning, and that was kind of fun.
And this one I drove Miss America in the Steamboat Days Parade
Yeah.
quite a while ago. It was Katie Harmon. And so Katie rode in here, which was a good experience. She had a chaperone in the front seat with her, and they had 2 motorcycle security cops following us because she's a national figure and people might want to do something for the attention. So we had security to go through the parade. And then I've used it for homecoming parades. We had Miss Minnesota in here one year. So I've actually got a guest book in the trunk. So when I have somebody in there, like one of the queens, they sign the guest book.
Someone famous like a Brews and Cruise host. All right, well then now we got the old T-Bird, which this one, this one turns a lot of heads. I know that because it looks like, isn't this what these ones are modeled after?
This is a 1957. In the movie American Graffiti, everybody always remembers Suzanne Summers drove a white T-Bird, almost exactly like this, but she drove a 56. So people, when they see this, they think this is from American Graffiti movie, but it's really a year different. This one I bought at one of the Remlinger auctions a couple years ago.
Yeah.
This one too, the top comes off, and then there's a soft top underneath it. Same with these, there's a soft top underneath the hard top.
Nice. Well, this one turns a lot of heads just because it's got a good look to it.
This one's fun to drive. It's a heavy car. You can see how big the hood is here.
And the steering wheel's humongous.
Yep, this is a heavy car, and it really rides smooth.
So you bought this at an auction then?
This was at Remlinger auction probably like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, yeah, this one turns a lot of heads, but these ones were modeled after this one, if I remember right. But
that's where the portholes came on the newer ones.
Yeah.
They came back and redid these in 02, 3, 4, and 5. So 4 years they came back and did these, and they put the portholes in them.
Sure. Yeah, so this is a, 57?
57.
All right, and then we can move down to more 50s. And we have the next one, which is a Ford. What year is this one?
It's a 1958 Ford Custom 300. This I bought from a guy in Trempealeau. Del Shrek, if you're watching Del, amongst the millions of viewers.
Millions.
I bought this from Del. He did the restoration. I believe he's a painter in La Crosse at a body shop. I believe that's where he's got his experience from. I think he's a truck painter, if I remember right.
Yep.
But this one is really nice. The inside's been all redone really nice. The color combination, people really like the color combination.
What colors is this then specific?
I don't know exactly. I think the green comes from, I don't remember. I think this color comes from a GMC, like a Suburban or something like that.
Sure.
He told me at one time.
Yeah, so for those who are listening, it's like a forest green on top, and on the side bottom portion in the middle, it's like a tan gold color. So it's very sharp. Sometimes being in here doesn't show how nice the paint jobs actually are.
But this one has like a 460, I believe, out of a Lincoln Continental.
Oh, really?
It's got a big engine in it.
I remember when you bought this one, we were at the car show.
This was at Steamboat Days
Yeah.
also.
Also, nice to see you come running back, and I'm like, where are you going? I go to the office to get a checkbook. I'm like, why? He goes, I just bought a car down there. I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, this one's pretty nice.
This one's gotten quite a few awards.
Yeah. Is it stick shift or is it?
No, this is an automatic on the floor.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, then we'll move on to the next one, which is probably the pride and joy of this place.
This is a 57 Chevy Bel Air. This one I bought at a Remlinger auction. This was owned by a Charlie Andring, who did most of the work.
Okay.
Painted by Brian Erdman. This has been done top to bottom. Electric windows. The engine's been really done nice. You can take a look in here. You won't see this on your audio, but take a look at this on your video, and you'll see how clean this is and how everything's been redone.
Yep.
Chrome's been all redone. Any of the stainless steel's been redone.
And this was done locally too, right?
This is what?
This one was built or remodeled or redone in Winona, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Charlie Andring and Goodview did this one. This is probably the most expensive one in the whole group here.
Yeah, because I remember, when he bought it, I think it was the most expensive one we had ever gotten. But this one turns a lot of heads just because it's red and it's got chrome, and this one is actually stick shift, so that's kind of nice. Yeah.
This one, this
4
one.
speed.
Yeah, this has got 4 on the floor.
Yeah, these.
And that one's gotten awards. Pretty much every car show it goes in,
Oh yeah,
it gets an award.
and it's easy to see why, because these are really nice. Now we go on to the next one, and we're on to the 55.
This is a 1955 Chevy sedan delivery.
Not to be confused with a Nomad. It's not a Nomad. Why is it not a Nomad? Tell everyone.
Nomad is a sportier edition.
Okay.
This was used mostly for delivery back in the 50s. The wheel wells are different in the Nomads, and there's different grooves and ribs on them. This one here has a nice sparkle paint job. I don't know if the camera will pick that up.
Probably not. Now, what is this supposed
This is an
to be?
airplane, which was just the typical hood ornament in 1955, and 56 had that.
But not 57?
57 had the bullets.
Oh, they had the bullets there. Okay, I see.
55 and 56 had the...
Why'd they do a plane?
I
You
don't
know?
know.
Okay. Well, yeah, so if you guys noticed here, for those who are listening, a Nomad usually has windows in the back.
Yeah, there'd be windows
And then you said the wheel wells
are rounded to the shape of the tire.
Okay. And then some of them have ribbed on top. Weren't they ribbed?
Yeah, there's grooves there, and then there's ribs on the tailgate.
Okay, because you want to get a Nomad, right?
I want to get a Nomad.
Okay.
And the tailgate on the Nomad opens, they call it a clamshell. It opens, one goes up, one goes down.
Okay.
With the sedan delivery, the whole thing comes up.
Oh, I see. So, okay. So
I had one of these in high school. My grandma thought it was a hearse. And she always told me when she died, I had to take her to the cemetery in my hearse.
Did you?
Well, no, because she died between when I had the one in high school and when I bought this one. She died in that period there.
What year did you buy this one?
This one I bought in about 2001.
Did you buy it off eBay?
This one I bought on eBay. It came from Florida, Port Richey, Florida.
Port Richey.
When eBay first came out, and I did a search, and it came up with this car that looked almost like the one I had in high school.
Yeah.
So I bid on it, and I got it. They delivered it to the Fleet Farm parking lot because it was on a pretty big truck, and they had to unload a bunch of
Yeah.
the first cars that were on there to get to this one.
Oh, sure.
So they couldn't get into our valley with that truck, so they met me at the Fleet Farm parking lot. So this one is probably the one I've had the longest in this whole garage.
I thought it was the black T-Bird.
It's close. 'Cause
Okay.
The T-Bird was new in 01.
Yep. October of 01. I remember you pulled
Right
up
after
to Volleyball
9/11 is when I bought that.
Park. Okay.
So that'd be 01, and I bought this right around 01 probably.
Okay. Yeah.
And
eBay.
these cars were in different garages around town. I had 4 cars in a garage in Goodview, and I had 7 cars in the garage under the bridge,
Yep.
and then we combined them all into this place.
Well, yeah, this one's pretty sweet. This one starts up the easiest, I always think. This one
Pretty
starts up-
modern too.
Yeah.
It's got power steering. It's got the 350 in it, automatic.
Yeah, I don't think the sparkle paint job's gonna be picked up on the cameras, but it's possible. Well, now we go over to the 56, which this one has been out of the garage
I
once.
took this one out this year.
You did.
This is a 56 Chevy. Now the 56, 55, and 57 are all part of a family called Tri-5s. Those 3 years were very popular, the Tri-5s. So I got one of each. This one I bought, I don't know, like maybe 4 years ago.
Okay.
This one I think came out of Missouri when it was redone. I bought it locally.
Yep. I remember I was there. I had to give you a ride to go get it.
Yep. And this one's got 4-speed on the floor.
So this one's manual. The sedan delivery
It's
is
automatic here. This one's-
automatic, and the 57 is manual as well. Okay.
They're obviously more fun to drive when you have a shift on the floor.
Yeah. This one doesn't have any sort of special paint job, but it has nice colors, actually, because was it maroon and cream?
That's a burgundy color with cream on top.
Yeah.
This one, I took this out this year.
That was the first time you took it out, I think.
First time I took it out in like
Since you
4
bought it.
years, and it drove perfect. Put fresh gas in them. I have
Another.
to put fresh gas in all these every year.
Yep. They don't make. They need to do hood ornaments like this. I always said that they should always redo. You know, they always do all these other cars. They should redo
This
style.
emblem here represents the V8.
Oh, I didn't know that. So for those who are listening, on the front, there's like a V with the Chevy logo on it, and it represents the V8, which is something I didn't know about until just now. That's news to me. I think they should redo these kind of cars. This would be fun with modern amenities. It'd be kind of fun.
This airplane, this is another airplane here to match the hood ornament.
Oh, there's another airplane on the back of that one.
I don't know what the airplane was. It's But that's a protection from your fingernails when you're opening the gas. Now, another tricky thing about the Tri-5s, we'll come over to the 57, I'll show you where you put the gas in the car. And most people don't know this unless they pump gas back in the 50s or 60s.
And you pumped gas back then, right?
Yep. And
all the 70s.
The tricky thing here is behind the fin, there's a door. And most people that don't know a lot about cars don't know that this is where you put the gas in. So it's on the fin. And 56 has a similar one. I'll show that when we get around there. But when I used to pump gas at Erickson's, it'd be funny to watch newer people that I worked with go out and try to put gas in a 55 or 56 or 57.
Well, and then some of the muscle cars back in the 70s had it right in the, what was it, the license plate area?
Oh, yeah, a lot of the 70s had them behind the license plates.
Yeah. Okay, so what's the deal with the 56 then you're talking about?
On the 56, same thing, it's behind the tail light, but now that's a little different. In 56, you have to unlock the tail light right here, and that comes down, and there's the fuel in there.
Wow.
So that's a little tricky too.
I don't even think I knew that about these.
Yeah, most people when I pump gas, they'd pull in and they'd be like this, and they'd be pulling here, looking there, and it's like, and they didn't know.
I don't know. I've never seen it before. And I haven't seen it since.
Well, there you go.
A little history on the Tri-5s. And now we come to the juice
This one here. What's special about this is this was my wife's parents.
My grandparents.
Your grandparents.
Yep.
They drove this till they were 80 plus.
I think they're like 88. Yeah.
And this is a Chrysler Crossfire.
Yep.
This they didn't make a lot of these. Another thing about these is they're pretty fast. And after about 60 miles an hour on the highway, this spoiler comes up to help stabilize the back end from fishtailing.
Yep.
I don't know if it would or not, but the theory is there that at 60 miles plus, this pops out. This one too has a I think it's just a soft top, but it's all hydraulic. And
yeah, it comes
this
right
opens, there's about 3 sections, and then it all comes together and locks in.
Now, one nice thing about this one is it's got, and Curtis, if you want to come on over here, inside it's got a nice, like a maroon, burgundy colored interior, which I always thought was nice. And I found this one from my grandparents back in, I think it was 2005 they bought this. And this is maybe in 04, 03, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember I found it on Auto Trader when Auto Trader was first kind of coming out. And they're like, find us a sports car that's just convertible. And I was like, I can do that for you. And sure enough, they found this. I think they found it in Madison, Wisconsin. So they bought it, and they didn't put many miles on it. And actually, I think another thing is Mercedes had a little bit of engineering in this one, if I remember right. I think Mercedes had some sort of engineering to do with this. I can't remember. I thought there was something where it talked about Mercedes actually designing a portion of this car. But yeah, it's actually a pretty clean car. They're fun. They're only V6s, but they're pretty fast. So that was a unique one just because it's my grandparents. And
yeah, there's an emblem on the back that says powered by Mercedes-Benz.
There you go, powered by that. So there you go. There's your little fun fact about the Chrysler Crossfire, which some people say looks like a dog taking a dump.
So that's the 9 of them on this side.
Yeah, actually this is it's my mom's actually. So all of them are yours. And then this one's mom's. And then we come over here, and this one's yours as well, which is the next one you're going to see, which is the Plymouth Prowler. And these ones I think are really cool. And the reason why I think they're cool is because it looks like an old Roadster back in the 30s. And this is how I wish they would make some of these other ones retro, those things. But this one, where'd you get this one from?
This one I got at Steamboat Days auction. The Prowler they don't make anymore, of course. And this one used to have big plastic bumpers on the front. Mm-hmm. And the plastic bumpers just looked terrible.
Yep.
So when I bought it, they weren't even on here. There was also a plastic bumper in the back. So I don't want to hit anything with this because it would really destroy it with all those bumpers there.
Yeah, all you'd have is this.
Right.
That would snap.
And then somebody chromed all the steering arms. Those have all been chromed.
Yep. Yeah, and this one you got at an auction, pretty reasonable price, I think.
Yeah, I wasn't even interested in it, but the price was pretty low at the time I jumped into bidding. This one drives nice. This handles nice. This gets lots of looks. This has gotten awards too at Buffalo City a couple times.
Yeah, and they got Foose rims on it, so those are aftermarket rims. And it's just a V6, so it's not like it's a huge engine, but I always think it looks kind of like a cockpit in here, in my mind. Curtis, if you want to come on over here. And
this has a soft top.
It's got a soft top. If you look inside there, you'll see all of the gauges are literally right in the middle of the dash. So when you're looking at your miles per hour, it's actually in the middle of your dash rather than in front of your face. So I always thought this one was kind of neat because it looks like, to me, it kind of looks like you're going into a cockpit of a plane, but it's pretty tight in there too. I like this one, though. It's automatic, and it's pretty fast, I think.
When these came out, I think purple was the only color they had that first year.
I think so,
it was
too.
Purple one.
That's what everybody probably knows it by is purple.
And this one has a soft top inside, which I have never even...
Hey, this is your trunk as well. There's not much to it.
This is a trunk. You can't put much of anything in there. You could put...
you can get the original.
You could put your plaques from the car show, which I have on the front seat.
Look at the original. It's even
the owner's manual, but you couldn't get golf clubs or groceries or anything like that.
It's even purple. It's even got a purple thing. That's cool. I always like this one.
And then here's the top for that, but I've never even put the top up ever.
Maybe it doesn't even work. All right, then we move on to this. Now, this one's kind of unique, and this is another kind of a similar situation when you bought the T-Bird, the black one, where it was like, oh, someone ordered it and then didn't buy it, and then it just sat there. Well, the same thing kind of happened with this. This is the Toyota Supra 2020. And if you look up there and you notice in the background of every episode, we actually got a custom neon sign that actually says Toyota Supra, and then you'll notice there's a number under it. It says 1166. The reason for that is because, and there it kind of goes a little bit, the reason for that is because this specific one, it was called the Launch Edition. They only made 1,500 in the world, and this one happened to be 1166. So when we got that sign made, we said put 1166 on it. So if we ever sold it, the sign would probably have to go with it because I don't know what else we'd do with it.
I believe it says 1166 on the dash.
Yep, it says 1166 right on the dash, Launch Edition. That might be a little tight for Curtis to actually see that in there, but he can probably stick the camera in there and probably get a little thing of the dash, and I'll talk a little bit about it. But these are, I think they're inline sixes, twin turbos, if I remember right. And this thing has sport mode. It has regular mode, eco mode. You put into sport mode, and the ass end of this thing kind of drops down, and it's ready to literally take off. It's something else. This is a really cool, fun car. Gets a lot of looks too. But now, you know, there's not much different with the Launch Edition compared to every other one that came out that year, except for really the rims, I think, were a little bit of the difference of these. But one thing I will say that this thing lacks is a stereo system. It's not the best stereo system in the world. I think it's pretty mediocre for how expensive the car is. But what happened with this is that I happened to be just kind of walking. I was getting an oil change, I think, done. And I walked in to see the cars that were sitting at Toyota Doll. And I said, wow, there's a new Supra sitting out there. That's pretty neat. And I had a Porsche at the time, a yellow Porsche Boxster, which is about as girly as it comes. And I thought this would be a good one to add to the collection because it is a collector's car. I mean, we literally only have 1747 for mileage. So 1,747 miles. Not very many miles on there, but this one just happened to be there. And a guy said, yeah, what happened was they ordered it and they were waiting and waiting and waiting. And then the Chevy dealership that's next to Toyota got a new Corvette in, and he said, I'll just buy that one instead. So this one was sitting on their floor, and I think, what did we end up getting it for, $59,000?
It's right around 60.
Right around 60.
Maybe 62 with taxes.
Yeah, and I laminated the sticker and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if we can even get into it because this one might be dead right now at the moment. To get into the trunk, I don't know if the trunk will even open because I think it's kind of dead. We haven't even taken it out in 2 years. So, but yeah, that one's really cool. That one's got a lot of kick.
Almost too much power.
And
you kick that down, the back end will get a little fishy on you.
Yeah, so this was a pretty neat one. And then we come over this one. This was like one of my, well, I've had other cars, but this is the Dodge Challenger. This is a 09. And back in 09, the SRT8 was the top dog you could even get. And nowadays they make Hellcats, Demons, Scat Packs, you name it, they got all of them. But this was the top. And the one thing that's a little bit more unique than all the other ones that year is not only is it stick shift, but it has a sunroof on top, which wasn't the most common. So that was one thing that was kind of unique about this one that was a little bit more limited. But this was a fun one. This is stick shift. I don't even think they make stick shifts anymore on these. Now it's like you put it into auto and then you can like paddle shift. And to me, that's not the same thing. So this was really kind of one of my first ones that I always thought this was a really good retro model. When they redid all the cars, I thought this one was a great retro model because it kind of looked like the 60s and 70s that it's modeled after. So this one's got like 40,000 miles on it. And my wife says I can't ever get rid of it because it's where we had our first date in this car. So I even said, can I get a Hellcat? What if it's black Hellcat? No, that's not the same. She wants me to hand it down to Lainey. So
now, another thing about when we purchased this car, you were bidding on it. The guy was trying to sell it on eBay, and he was bidding on it.
Yep.
And the guy had a minimum that nobody reached the minimum, so he took it off of eBay. A couple months later, it shows up at an auction in the Twin Cities. And a friend of mine was at the car deal or at the auction. He's a car dealer, and he calls me and says, "There's a black Challenger like your son was bidding on." And we looked it up. We looked up the serial number. We looked up everything about it, and that car was on the auction block for less than what he had bid on it on eBay.
Here's a little sales sign.
So he calls me up and says that same car is up here in the Twin Cities. I think it was Maple Grove. And 42.9 was the sticker on it at the time.
It had 6,000 miles, so it was a used car. It's probably only one. It says has every option. And
so he said, "Should I buy it?" And I said, "Yeah." So he bought it. He had to have his sister come up to the cities and drive it back, or he drove it back. His sister brought his car back. But so a friend of mine picked this up for us.
Well,
and it was cheaper at the auction than it was what he was bidding on it on eBay.
Well, the funny thing is, what did we get? 33,000.
I don't remember the price on
It
it.
wasn't very much, and the reason I bring that up is because this is a 09, and if you were going to go get a Hellcat nowadays, you're talking $70,000. So it's like twice the price of what these things used to be, and that's only in a short period of time. We're talking 16 years old is all it is. So yeah, this is one of my originals, and it's a V8, and it's the biggest one you could possibly get that year. So I think
What did Rich say about this one? How it drives?
he said it fits like a nice tuxedo. I guess. I don't know. It definitely pulls you in. And that brings me to the next car, which is the Viper, which is the one that just got last year. And this one hugs you pretty good with the seat bolsters because they come right against you. And boy, it straps you in. But this is an 04 Viper. And this one you've seen in the background quite a few times if you watched older episodes. This one's got a V10 naturally aspirated. So it does have 500 horsepower. Is, it's a good portion. It's a good horsepower, but nowadays they make things so fast. But this is naturally aspirated, so there's no supercharger, there's no turbo on this at all. It's just straight muscle. And the funny thing about this car is there's no bells and whistles inside. So when I got rid of two cars, the Mustang, if you remember from earlier episodes, there was a blue Shelby Mustang. That one was kind of tough to let go because it was signed by Carroll Shelby, so that was really neat. And then we had a 2010 Camaro, that white and with the orange stripes. Traded both of those in or sold them at the auction and then got this one. And this one I got for $55,000 out the door. It had 11,000 miles on it when I bought it. It still got like 11,000 something on it at the moment. But the one thing about this, I went to go test drive it, and I already sold my other cars. I went to go test drive it, and I'm looking around. Where's the cruise control on this thing? There is no cruise control. So I was kind of devastated at first. I was like, man, that's crappy. What am I going to do for cruise control? Well, there's add-ons if you want them. But then I thought to myself, I'm like, well, I guess it's a negotiating power because I don't really care if I get it or not because it doesn't have cruise control. But then I also thought to myself, oh, I only drive these things like 500 miles a year, so what do I really need cruise control for? I'm not going on cross-country road trips. But this is a really neat one. This one gets a lot of looks, too. Taking this one in parades. Actually, that's how I met Morgan Moeller. Actually, she was on the podcast. I met her because I drove her through the Steamboat Days parade 2 years ago. And then she came on and did a podcast because she was trying out for Miss Minnesota. And so that's how I met a guest, was because of this car. But this cool thing about this car, I think, and it's unique because of the fact that there's no, for the hood, you come under here like an old 70s car, and there's a little latch under there. And this is probably what everyone really cares about on this car is underneath the hood. But that's kind of cool because it reminded me of my old 78 Trans Am that I used to have where you open it up from the front there. But that's what a V10 engine looks like. It's big. And it's fun. It's very tight in the leg area. So if you come on over here, Curtis, we'll look at the inside quick. The inside of this is very, very tight down by the legs. So your pedals are like within inches. So if you don't wear like a narrower shoe, it's pretty tough because without the narrow shoe on, you're kind of hitting the gas and you're hitting the brake at the same time as well. So sometimes that's a little tough as well, but this one's pretty unique. I was wondering why it was so cheap because $11,000 or 11,000 miles, $55,000 out the door. That's tax, title, and everything. That one's pretty cheap. And then I was reading online. It said the Gen 3s, which this is the Gen 3, they're not the most highly sought after because a lot of people don't like the convertible look. So Gen 2s and Gen 6s are kind of the staple points of a Viper. So that's why it was probably a little bit cheaper is because of that reason. And not a whole lot of people looking for Vipers either way. But this one gets a lot of looks because you don't see Vipers out on the street very often. So that one's really cool. So I had to give up the Carroll Shelby Mustang GT500 for this and the other one. So this one's really neat.
And you have 2 plaques from car shows. So
2 plaques from car shows.
24 and 25, you took first place.
Yep.
The 2 years that you've had it, you took first.
Yeah, these are considered a supercar too. So, I mean, when you think of a supercar, you're probably thinking Bugattis, you're thinking McLarens, things of that nature. This one still kind of falls under that category a little bit as well. Let's go over to this one here because this one gets a lot of talk. And you've seen this one. It's a race car. It's a dirt track race car. And this one's got a lot of history in Winona. Now, might not have a lot of history worldwide, but in the Winona area, this one has a lot. We even came with this nice plaque here. We'll talk about the other car there in just a moment. But it came with this, and we got to do this for all these cars here. These are really cool. Tell us everything about who owned it or who it was, who raced it,
This
actually.
was originally owned by Carl Fensky back in the 70s. It's a 57 Chevy Bel Air, which is like the Bel Air over here.
Okay.
But this was originally a convertible. And the way I was told by the one that rebuilt it, the convertible is a heavier car than the regular Bel Air. So the framing is built underneath. You can look, and there's a lot stronger framing. So the convertible was a better car for a race car.
Okay.
When Carl bought it, he always raced with a windshield because if you race on dirt, you get dirt and dust in your face. Carl had a windshield. And that was, I think, before the years where they made you take all glass off of your race car. He even had a wiper on it. As you can see, there's a wiper. But Carl raced this. This was considered hobby stock back in the day. He's won a lot of feature races with it. There's stickers on there. So this was all redone. It sat at Elmer's Junkyard for probably 10 years or more. And a guy out of Rochester bought it, and he rebuilt it all based on pictures. Here's actually an original picture of Carl, and that's the car back in the day with Carl looking like he just got out of high school. So it was all relettered, all repainted.
To look exactly like that.
Yes, it looks just like it did then.
Okay.
At one time, this was a silver car with blue numbers on it.
Okay.
This one, we take over to the Carl Fensky Memorial, and we take it out for one lap on the national anthem. We take it out on a trailer, although I could drive it if I wanted to. I could drive it, but it would come back all muddy. So we always put it on the trailer to keep it clean. We do one lap with the flag. Carl's daughter and niece, I believe his niece, will ride in it. And we just take it out once a year to the memorial race at Mississippi Thunder.
Well, now I think you should come over here and Curtis should follow you because there's a certain way on how you have to turn this on, if I remember right. There's you don't need to turn it on, but go through the process because it's not just turn a key and go.
Well, most race cars, you always have a kill switch here. So you turn on your power here. And to get in, the doors won't open for safety reasons. Mm-hmm. They're welded shut with crash bars in here. And then you have to pull the steering wheel off to actually get in. So most race cars are like this. When you get in here, you're wrapped in tight. And then there's like a 5-point seat belt in here. And then once you get in, your pit crew will hand you your steering wheel. And as you can see, there's a lot of roll bars, a lot of safety things. It's got the gauges and things like that.
Now, you raced too back in 95.
I raced in 95, 96. That was in the street stock when I had a Chevy Malibu. But before my days of racing, the 55 through 57, like the Tri-5s we talked about, a lot of those were converted to race cars.
Yeah, the whole book here actually shows Carl.
These are some of the feature races here. All of these are feature races.
That means
There's probably more than that, but when he rebuilt it, he got those made.
That's cool. This one gets a lot of talking points, and it's probably the cheapest car we have in here because it's just got so much history.
Even the sponsors, Fergie's Magic Mist, that was a car wash in Winona. Fensky Auto Body, Downtown Skelly, or Downtown Shell. Ruth's Restaurant was a restaurant in downtown Winona. So when these people sponsored it in the 70s, they're still getting advertising value today out of this, even though most of these don't exist. But it's still got painted back the exact way it was when it was raced.
This thing's loud.
This is a pit crew. Dave Till, Spooner, Paul Blood, Mike Cleese. Those are the three that were in the pit crew. And they're still all around.
Yeah, and Dave comes over and works on some of the cars, doesn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, he's come over and fixed a couple.
Yeah, this one, in fact, I had trouble starting it right before the Memorial race, and Dave Spooner,
still a pit crew,
came over and got it running. I think it was an electrical problem and a gas problem. When they sit for a year like that, things just stop working. So Spooner got this running for the race.
This one's cool. This one, a lot of people knew who Carl was, and Carl was a pretty crazy guy too. Because I remember he'd come flying around corners and he'd come honking at me and everything. And then we even dressed up Carl as well with my old motorcycle helmet and Terrence's fire suit and everything. So we still got it looking like we might as well use the mannequin. So we do that.
Well, Rocco's Pizza is on this side, and Rocco's Pizza is still around.
Yeah, Rocco's is still around. Shout out to Rocco's. They can sponsor the podcast if they want. Send us some pizzas. Now, this red car here, this one is Laney's car someday.
No miles on it yet.
0 miles. It's all electric. My uncle, Terry, whose fire suit is this one, he bought this last year at the, I think it was the Humane Society auction, because I think it was the state, it was Dave Jensen. Yeah, Farmers Insurance actually donated it, and he bought it, and he goes, here, this is for Laney. So someday, probably within the next year here, she has her own electric Corvette, and this is modeled after the C8, so that's that new style that everyone has nowadays. But yeah, it's all electric, and it's ready to go with 0 miles on it. She's just waiting for her to learn. So she has her own car when she comes down here to be with Grandpa and Dad. And then someday we gotta get her a car bed down here so she can take a nap. I think that'd be kind of fun. Now let's talk about this, the Skyjack. This one got a lot of love when I made. They said we need a video of the Skyjack, so I made one for everyone. And there's a reason why you bought this, because you were borrowing it for one. You were borrowing them from friends, but then you did something in the garage that no other person would ever think of doing.
Well, I bought this to hang all the signs, the neon signs, because there's just no way you can get up there with ladders and the weight of these signs. And to put a sign up like that that's fragile because it's neon, you have to have one of these. So yeah. I bought that because of all the neon signs. And then a couple of years ago, I went up and stained every one of the rafters as a dark color, just for the looks of it. So this has come in real handy. This probably has more miles on it than all these cars in here because it goes back and forth, up and down, but this is one of my best vehicles in here.
Yeah, usually you'll notice it sometimes in the backgrounds behind everything. You'll see this and go, what the heck is that thing? Well, it's a Skyjack, and it goes all the way up to the top of the ceiling there. Gets a little wobbly, but that's how we hung up half the signs, because we'll talk a little bit more about all these neon signs that are in here, but that's how you get up there and hang those things, because they're not lightweight and they're awkward shaped, and as you notice, some of them are circular, some of them are like the Michelin Man up there. You'll notice pretty different, top heavy, side heavy, whatever it might be. So then we'll go behind the bar, and Curtis, you can just stay there, and we can talk more about this bar that we use, because we use all this for our parties. And the bar is made out of copper. So You don't see this in the video. You just see the bar. You usually see the TV. Curtis is on his episodes. So that's pretty cool. But this bar is used quite a bit, and it's made out of copper, right?
Yeah, the top is copper.
And the people
The background is copper.
Oh, yeah.
This was built by the previous owner, Jim Remlinger. He built this when he owned the building. Now Jim, of course, has outgrown it, and he's out on the highway at the Remlinger Muscle Car Museum. But this was in here when I bought it.
Yep. And then we stuck the TV over there, so now we can watch dual sports. We had extra TVs laying around for whatever reason, and now we'll put a game there, and if there's a second game happening, we'll put it on this one, and now people can either see the same game when they're sitting over
right here. This is our IT guy, Curtis Harrison. He runs the cameras. That's him, and of course the host, Ritch Jacobson.
Yeah. And so like when you'll notice this, if you're watching, you'll notice you don't see much of the bar. You just see the tables and stuff like that. So when you come up here, there's actually a lot more to it. This is copper. And my wife one time, probably 7 years ago, she tried getting this to perfect condition by doing a whole bunch of stuff and kind of did. And then you can't probably see this on the camera, but there's a lot of water stains happen real quick on this. But it is cool because you know what? It is a man cave. And it should look a little rustic and a little beaten up because it's still an active garage. And I've said that. It looks like a museum. Some people ask if we rent this place out. We don't. We have private parties here, but it still is an active garage. So we still use the stuff. And so this is the full bar. We have 2 coolers back here. We have another cooler there. You saw at the beginning of the episode, you noticed that we have our gas tanks and stuff of that nature. We have a PA system. So we do a lot of this. This is a really cool one too, the clock. I always like that neon. But let's go back over here around. And Curtis, if you want to take a look at the floor, that's one thing people probably don't notice. If you look at the floor, you redid all of this floor a few years back because this was a totally different style floor.
This is the original concrete from 1950s when this building was built, and the concrete had cracks. It had different paint jobs. So we stripped it all the way down. We had a company called Garage Force of Winona came in, stripped it all down, patched all the cracks, and put this finish on it. And this finish actually costs more than putting a whole new concrete floor in here. But this way we're done with it. If you put a new concrete floor in, it's still going to crack eventually. So we stripped this all down. The hardest part of this was I had to get everything out of here. All the cars had to go out.
Oh, that's right.
Store them somewhere. The neons had to be covered with plastic because there was a lot of dust. It only took them about a week to do this and then bring everything back. And it's held up really good, and it's been about 7 years, 6 years we've done this, and it's held up really good. There's a flaking color in it. What you do is you pick the color flakes you want. There's about 4 different ones that I picked, and we mixed them all together, and this is the color we came up with. So it's just a custom color just for this garage.
Yeah, I remember we were going through all the things. Which one should we do? Which one should we do? We don't want one too light. We don't want one too dark because it's going to show stuff. This is probably the best color you could probably figure because you don't see many stains or dirt. You find the dirt, and then you vacuum it. So he likes doing that. Now, the other thing you'll notice in here, and it's very obvious when you're watching episodes, is you're going to notice there's tons of neon signs. These ones over here you usually see in every single episode from right about here back. But then there's a whole bunch of other ones, and if Curtis, you want to just come walk around this way and get a shot this way of what people don't see, we can talk more about all of these signs that we have because we have mobile gas ones here, we have a Chris Craft one there, Thunderbird one there, Harley Davidson, Porky's, Mopar, Pennzoil, Austin Healey, Dog and Suds, Rolls-Royce, Duesenberg. We have a ton of other signs that nobody sees on the podcast because of the fact that we're looking that way rather than this way. And what was it, about half of them were here, and then you bought the other half?
Well, I bought about half of them from the previous owner, and then I've ordered them and bought some from him over the years, and I think we're pretty full.
Yeah.
But if I still found the right looking neon sign, I would, of course, add it somewhere, but there's about, I think there's like 38, 39 neon signs in here.
Now, these aren't original. These are refabricated, right?
Right.
Okay. So when you're looking at these, if you think, oh, they're original, no, original ones that are broken and don't even work can sometimes go for upwards of $30,000 to $50,000.
Oh, yeah. Some of them can be $100,000 for an original neon sign.
Now, one neon I want you to talk about is that one in the back that nobody understands. What is the RJ collection? Because it's on just about every single episode. It should be.
Well,
What is
the RJ collection is just the name of the collection of cars. It just stands for my initials, which are R and J. So we just named it the RJ collection and filled up that spot on the wall.
So it's his initials spelled out, the R and the J, RJ. Some people go, I see there's an R and a J on there, but I don't understand it. It's just the letters spelled out. It's pretty simple. Nobody understands it, but it's all right. Well, as we start winding down here, Curtis, if you want to just keep coming this way, you can get a little bit more shot of the other neons that no one really sees.
You get the Pennzoil collection up there. There's another race car driver from Pennzoil.
And then those two rims up there are spare rims for the T-Bird, just in case you ever need some.
We're always looking for another project to complete the building, but I don't know that it's ever going to be complete because we were always looking for different things to do in here.
Yeah. Well, is there any other fun facts about this place that people should know about? I mean,
well, it was built in the 50s. This is a question I get from everybody when they come here: is what used to be in here? Well, this was a car dealership in the 50s. This was all service area where all the cars. This was a service area, and that was a showroom up there for the new cars, where the Model A and the motorcycles are. That was a showroom. And then I found some old newspaper articles. When color TVs came out in about the 60s, they started selling Motorola's. So they'd put a color TV in the window, and people walking by could stop and see what a color TV looked like from the street. They could look in the window and see a Motorola TV. So they sold TVs in addition to the cars that were in here.
Oh,
and the cars back then were the Henry J, the Frazier, Studebaker, I think, was another one. And it was called Robinson Motors back then. And I've got an article of what it used to be and a picture of what it used to be. So that's what this was built for. And then about in the 70s, it became a plumbing supply house. So it was just for plumbing parts, plumbing trucks. And then after that, somewhere along the way, it became the party supply house, which I think was part of Zabel's next door. And they sold like stationery. And that's what a lot of people remember, because that was in the 90s and early 2000s when it was called.
I think it was called Valley Supply.
Valley Supply, and then Public Supply or Valley Public Supply.
Yep, something like that.
So people remember that. And then this was all like storage rooms where stationery and paper products and napkins were back in here. And then that was all torn out of here and brought back to look like a car dealership again.
Yeah. So then Jim Remlinger bought it, and then we bought it from him, and here we are now. And everyone goes, wow, this place is cooler. So you should see what he's got now. Holy cow.
And what we're trying to do sometime soon is build a gas station facade in the back part of the building. We're going to lose the car space back there, but we'll have a gas station set up. It'll look like an old gas station from the 50s. It'll have neon lights. It'll have gas pumps. And up on the roof of that gas station will be the Brews Cruise Podcast studio. So he will be elevated above all the cars, and then the shot that you'll see in the picture will be coming this way, and you'll see the opposite of what you see on the podcast the first 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we're waiting for that to happen soon. We hope that'll happen this winter.
Yep. And then if you haven't realized, as we're walking around here, it's hard to get the cars out because the studio's set up. So anytime we want to go out the front door, I have to move everything out of the way, and then we have to put it all back. It's not the end of the world. It's just that would be a little bit more streamlined and a little bit more efficient. But anything else?
Well, I think that about does it.
It just about does it. So
this is always changing. So
always.
As you watch the podcast every week, you might see different things, different signs, different angles, but eventually see a whole new look in here.
Yeah. Well, for those who are listening, you might want to tune over to the YouTube page and actually watch this one, because this is one more of a visual. We try to do our best talking about visualize, but if you want to see what it looks like behind, this is the episode to watch. It's the 100th episode, so it's kind of special for me because of the fact that 100 episodes, they say, if you can make it that long, boy, you're doing something pretty well. And I don't know, I think it's just a hobby at the moment, but it's still fun to come in and sit down, talk, have a drink, BS with someone, or learn something. But again, this has been another episode of Brews and Cruise. Please like, share, subscribe, and follow. Maybe give a 5-star comment, send a friend to the page, subscribe for me because it only helps grow the page. And this has been another episode of Brews and Cruise. Cheers.